Hi there, we love betting time once again, and we are in form, aren't we?
Oh yeah,
2 out of 3
yeah,
last
running
week.
hot.
Top man.
Handy.
Give me a hug. Top man. 2 out of 3. We got 2 out of 3 last week. In a terrible start to the season, we're having we're taking the mickey.
Just needed an international break.
So felt like the Aston Villa, and we love betting.
Oh God! What a massive insult!
They'll finish in the top 16 this year. Anyway, let's go on with it. Nick's got 3 tips for us for the Premier League this particular weekend. Kick us off with the first one.
Well, they're all Saturday 3 o'clock kickoffs, and once again, true to my form, I'm going for the glamour ties. I'm starting with Wigan against Fulham. Of course, why not? Picking a winner in this one a little bit difficult, in as much that Fulham continuing their trend for away antics, shall we say, and being fantastic at home. They've won me a decent amount of money already for their home form, but of course lost 3-0 at West Ham. And last season they lost 10 away games, same as Wolves, so that really tells its own story. Wigan at home, I mean, everyone thinks of the tail end of last season. I know you've had a little rant about this already in our previous videos, Chris, but you know, that one defeat in 7 was not reflective of what they've typically done at their own place. I think they've had 5 wins last season, 5 wins the previous season, and maybe 6 the year before that. That's probably a Premier League high. They're not really a Stoke or a Sunderland type team, or indeed a Fulham. So you can't really trust either side. I guess probably have a look at the draw, but it's unders that stick out for me, purely because 63% of Wigan home games and 73% of Fulham away games were under 2.5 goals last year, and you can get it at 17 to 20 as well, which kind of surprised me, I have to say, based on those stats. Fulham not been involved in an unders game so far this season, but I really think, having conceded 3 goals in their last 2 away trips, Martin Jol's got to think a little bit more defensively, even at Wigan. And I can see this being a bit of a tight game. 17-20 sticks out for me.
Yeah, eventually see how Berber gets on after his great start.
Yeah, it was a great start.
It was indeed.
He'll be firmly instructed not to play well away from home, though.
Yeah, no, you can't do that in a Fulham shot.
No, absolutely.
Not at all. Horrible. Game 2, you've got Chelsea.
Chelsea against Stoke. Yeah, Mark will absolutely love me for this. He's a big Chelsea fan, of course. He despises Chelsea, but I think they're going to win, and they're going to win well here. Okay, they've got the whole Champions League complication in midweek, but at the same time, Stoke are pretty horrible away against the top 6.
Just horrible from Stoke.
Top 6. Let's stick to the football, not the places, shall we?
Ooh,
the top 6, they were absolutely terrible. They lost 5 and drew 1 last season. They lost by 2+ goals in 4 of those 6 games. They had 11 away defeats in all. 7 of those were by a 2-goal margin or more, and 9 of those games they didn't score in. So they really obviously had an issue scoring away from home last season, and just couldn't manage it at all, let alone against the big clubs. I'm always a bit wary of 2-0, especially Chelsea's defence isn't really 100%, and if they're 5-0 up, which hopefully they might not necessarily be, but if they are, they lose a bit of concentration, and that one goal goes in and it scuppers your bet. But I do think -1 they're a decent shout here, because they had 12 home wins last season, and 6 of those were by 2+ goals. Okay, it's only 50-50, but at the same time, I do think they're a better team this year. They've already started off with 2 home wins that were by that 2-goal margin. So Chelsea -1 at 11 to 10 makes a decent shout.
Interesting. Stoke terrible, like Nick says, away from home against big sides, but great at home. So that game last weekend. But worrying start for me is having won since April the 7th, and haven't won away since January against Blackburn.
And
so
just the goal scoring problem, and I haven't seen anything that's really changed my mind about that.
Absolutely. Final tip then?
Final one, we're going to Southampton, Aston Villa, and the last time Southampton played at home against Wigan, I did go for over 2.5 goals, and I was denied, of course, but I'm going for over 2.5 goals again. I'm convinced that Southampton are the Blackpool of this season. I do think they're a better side than, obviously, how they've started. Everyone seems to be condemning them to going down now. And look at the teams they've played. Like they've played enormously. And okay, they lost 6-1 at the Emirates. Plenty of bigger teams than Southampton have lost by a big scoreline now. I'm proud to say, Chris. So, I think we need to give them more credit. They've definitely got a goal-scoring threat going forward. Ricky Lambert, I think, will score goals at this level, and they were the top performing home team in the Championship last year. So you've got to give them credit. Villa, at the same time, showed a bit more positivity last week, and there was talk of we've got our Villa back. It was one of the things that Stan Collymore was banging on about on TalkSport. I think Paul Lambert is going to make them a more attacking outfit. Interestingly, looking at the stats from last year, 56% of Southampton home games went over 2.5 goals. 47% of Villa games, which actually, considering Alec McLeish was in charge, is an astounding stat.
I thought it was 4%.
Yeah, I would have thought so as well. So actually, Villa could easily contribute to the score sheet here, just because Southampton's so terrible going forward. I think over 2.5 goals at evens is a good bet as well, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul Lambert was an interesting interview last weekend. I got to try a Paul Lambert impression here. Forgive me after we won last weekend. But Billy Miles me for getting, just
pretty accurate.
That's pretty rubbish. We're working that all afternoon. Anyway, leave it there. Sorry. Your 3 tips.
3 tips in reverse order. Marco hairstyle is Southampton Villa over 2.5 goals at even money. Chelsea to beat Stoke by at least a 2-goal margin. It's -1 in the handicap, 11-10. And just finally, a nice boring game between Wigan and Fulham under 2.5 goals. That plays 17-20 out there, Chris.
Excellent.